What a view.
Morning, it's August 19th, 2021, and I'm about to enter the Chiricahua Wilderness. I'm gonna head out on the Basin Trail and do about a 3 or 4 day backpacking trip out here. I'm gonna be heading up to the Chiricahua Crest. Today I'm going about 6.5 to 7 miles up to Cima Park and Cima Spring. I camp by the Forest Service cabin up there. This is my first time out in the Chiricahuas, so I'm kind of doing this as more of kind of a short trip to kind of just see what this place is all about. But yeah, let's get hiking. I'll talk more about the trip as we go. Today's plan, we're heading out on Basin Trail for a couple of miles. Eventually I'm going to connect up with the Greenhouse Trail, and that's where we're going to start climbing up. In that 7.5 miles, I'm going to cover about 3,600 feet of elevation gain. My original plan had us going up this Snowshed Trail, but turns out that would have been 4,400 feet of elevation gain over 8 miles, and I wasn't too interested in that, especially with this late start I got. So instead, we're going to be going up this way towards Herb Martyr Dam, and from there, we're gonna hit that Greenhouse Trail I just talked about. All right, after that last creek crossing, I bumped into a lovely small group of day hikers, and it turns out they were part of a local hiking club out here. They come out here a lot, and I chatted them up for a few minutes and got some more information, and it turns out that where I'm planning on camping tonight is going to be an awesome site with good water and lots of good places to set up a tent. Hey, this is looking back where I came from. I'm about to hit a road that connects me with my Greenhouse Trail, but this view just suddenly popped out in front of me. Came out of nowhere. I was kind of in a forest area, and suddenly this. And here's looking the direction I'm going. I'm not actually going out there. That's actually the canyon that I drove up from. Isn't that just spectacular? Looks like I am finally on the greenhouse trail. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but it says it's only 4 miles up to the Crest Trail. I think Cima Spring is less than 4 miles. It's probably more like 3.7 or something like that. So we got to climb almost 3,000 feet over 3.5 miles. I'm in the thick of it now. So putting my hiking pant legs on. I'm really glad I brought these because the trail's getting super overgrown and concerned about ticks and chiggers on this trip. Well, I don't really know what to make of this. Is this a good sign or a bad sign? Well, either way, it's a sign. I just had a black bear encounter. It was on the trail right in front of me as we turned a corner. It was a big one too, but luckily it ran right up this hill, almost vertical. You there? Getting some views pretty soon. Look at this. That is very fresh bear scat. That one was probably courtesy of our friend that I met down there. Okay, I'm about halfway up a series of what looks like about 15 switchbacks, and getting pretty close to Winn Falls. More expansive landscape than before, but still heading up. This is the way we're going, and we're starting to see a few aspens up here. I think I'm approaching Winn Falls. This looks like there's a viewpoint over here. And check that out. This is Winn Falls. Well, they call the Chiricahua Wilderness the Yosemite of Arizona. Might sound a little bit dramatic, but I'm starting to understand why they say that. What a view. One last look at Winn Falls. I have to say, I am very impressed with this valley. Alright, I'm done with those switchbacks and I'm kind of up on a high saddle. And the direction to the right is kind of where we're going. We're heading up through this pass up ahead. And somewhere out there is Cima Park. I'm at about 8,000 feet. I think I need to get to 9,000 feet up there, so another 1,000 feet of climbing over another couple miles. Alright, out there is Silver Peak, and then this spire sticking up is called Cathedral Rock, and then this big mountain complex and the big mountain behind it is called Puddle Peak. The Yosemite of Arizona. So I'm going to go ahead and bet right now that we're going to have good creek flow right next to where I'm camping tonight, which is a good sign. Still making my way up this pass, and a pretty cool waterfall over here. Kind of water slide, actually. Beautiful stream. Been seeing quite a few pretty mushrooms along this trail. Most of the ones I've been seeing are kind of like orange and brown. This is the first red one I've seen. Looks like I only got another 100 feet to climb. Let's keep heading up. I know you probably can't see it yet, but I can see the cabin behind the trees there. So we're almost to our campsite. Looky what we got here. This coming up is Cima Park. I'm guessing that we climbed about 4,000 feet today. Over about, I want to say it was about 8 miles, maybe 9. This is a pretty interesting campsite. I think I'm going to set my tent up right behind where my camera is, next to that tree and that shed. These trees look pretty healthy to me. To the right of the cabin, there's kind of a food and cooking area. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna have a fire or not. It's only 5:11. It doesn't get dark till almost 8 p.m., so I got quite a bit of time to kind of loiter. Okay, this camp is pretty interesting. I think most of the time it gets used is by people who actually use the cabin, which would be Forest Service volunteers and workers and such. Anyway, you can kind of see my stuff over in the fire area. Okay, it got dark pretty fast on me, so I'm going to cook some chili. I thought about having a fire, but I collected some firewood actually, but it turns out it's all just really soaked. So it's just too much trouble. So I'm not gonna have a campfire tonight. Everything out here has been wet from recent monsoon storms. I brought like some hard cheese, like some Parmesan, and this is an avocado. I'm gonna put this in my chili. So that should be kind of interesting. Dinner is ready. Chili with rice. This is all homemade. I put some Parmesan cheese in there, kind of blocks of it, melted it, and that's avocado on top. All right, so today's hike was pretty difficult. I think I climbed almost 4,000 feet in elevation over probably 7 or 8 miles. And it's been a long time since I put in that kind of effort, so I'm actually kind of sore right now. I have to do some stretching and stuff, so yeah, I'm pretty tuckered out. I'm just going to go right to bed after this. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Morning. Well, I'm not really in much of a hurry to get on the trail today. I think I'm going to hike about 9 miles along the crest. It's kind of I'm going to go like about 4 or 5 miles out towards, I forget what it's called. I'll show you on the map in a second. But then I'm going to curve around from that point and come back this way. And I'm not sure if I'm going to camp at this spot again or if I'm going to continue further and camp at a different spring. So, but just making breakfast, as you can see, got my cereal going. So it's turned out to be a beautiful day. All right, let's get this out on a tray. So here's something new I'm doing lately. I'm putting my cereal in kind of a freezer bag and then putting it in the pot to eat it within the freezer bag. I'm just kind of too lazy in the morning, and it just takes too much time to scrub a pot. So I was gonna check this cabin out, but it says it's only for Forest Service and fire crews, and they don't want anybody going in there, so I'm gonna respect their wishes. Alright, I'm packed up and ready for day 2's hike, but first let me show you the map of where we're going, and I want to show you which map I brought. This is a green trails map for the Chiricahua Mountains. There's no National Geographic map for this area, but so far this one seems to be working out pretty well. Okay, yesterday we started at the Herb Martyr Trailhead at about 55 or 5,800 feet elevation, can't really remember. And when I started right out on this Basin Trail 600, there's this little curve about 1.5 miles, and then met up with this road. And then we hooked up with the Greenhouse Trail 248, And this was where it really got steep. We passed Winn Falls, and then we got up to Cima Park. That's where we're camped right now. So today's plan is to head north on the Crest Trail, and I'm going to contour along kind of northwards, and eventually I think I'm going to get out to this bootlegger trail to kind of loop around and then continue on the Crest Trail, and then I'm going to make my way back down towards Cima Park. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to come back to this very spot at Cima Park and camp again, or if I'm going to continue down and like camp near one of these different springs. So I'm not really sure about that yet, but eventually we're going to be taking the Snowshed Trail and Herb Martyr Trail back to the car out of here in 1 or 2 days. Looks like we're meeting up with the Crest Trail. Well, looks like these signs have seen better days. Down in there is the canyon that we hiked up from yesterday. Beautiful little aspen grove. If not for these aspens, we would have a pretty monster view. Whoa. Check out this giant fungi. This thing is about the size of my head. Here's Fly's Peak. So, this place is called Round Park, and you can kind of see why. Wow, what a view. That's the interior of the Chiricahuas. There's quite a few trails out that way. So I'm at kind of a saddle where a bunch of trails meet. So we're taking the Crest Trail this direction, and this direction is called Long Park Trail 42D. Let's go. Man, what an epic view. Apparently there's a whole network of trails out there in various states of disrepair. But someday I'll get out to those. That's all kind of the western slope of the Chiricahuas. This Crest Trail is something else with the views, man. This is the direction we're heading. So with this hill up ahead, there's going to be a saddle that comes up to the right of it, and I decided that's my loop around point for today. Rustler Park was where I was really going to loop around at, and I decided I'm going to go out there on a different trip in the future. I want to do like a bigger trip out here. So instead, I'm going to loop around at Long Park and then go back to Cima Spring for a kind of a short day. Okay, I've reached Bootlegger Saddle. It's actually spring down there towards where the Rock Creek Trail goes. So it's good to know that there's potentially water in the west side canyons as well. So I'm at this little trail junction. I don't think this is actually where it goes. I think somebody had to put it up against this post. But yeah, it's a pretty cool place to camp, it looks like. It's like kind of an open area. There's a big fire pit over there. I would just camp over here if I didn't have such a long hike out on the final day, so I really do need to loop around. So this is the direction we're going to go, and we're going to connect up with what looks like possibly a Jeep road for a minute in order to do a loop. This is a little weird. It's like a hunting thing. I had to go outside the wilderness for a short while, and I guess there's people hunting out here. I'm at Long Park. This is 9160 feet, and there's a little trailhead up here. There's a few cars. Yeah, I'm connected up with the Long Park Trail, so I just had to walk up maybe half a mile of Jeep road. I didn't show that on camera. It's pretty boring. Eventually, I'm gonna link back up with the Crest Trail and head back to set up a camp. Tomorrow, I'll probably hike up to the top of Chiricahua Peak, which should have pretty awesome views, and I believe is the highest peak in the Chiricahuas. So today was kind of interesting. It wasn't really what I planned on, but I still ended up hiking about 8 miles along the Crest Trail. And I had a pretty interesting discussion with like a hunter that was set up at a camp at kind of around my loop around point, and kind of made me think about some things out here, mainly to do with like drug traffickers and stuff. So this is like the furthest south to the border that I've camped. So the Chiricahuas are kind of a known place for drug smugglers and like cartel guys to like come through. But the hunter that I talked to kind of told me an interesting story about them, and he's had a few run-ins with them about them just kind of like hiding out literally in the wilderness. And apparently the night before the first night of this trip, which would have been, so yesterday was Thursday, the day before that, that Wednesday, apparently there was a group of like 12 drug traffickers that were set up like in this area, like in Cima Park where I'm at right now, and like law enforcement were up there, like, I don't know, taking them away or whatever. So just really makes me think, like, what if I had started this trip a day earlier? What would I have run into out here? It's kind of creepy to think about, but like last night was completely quiet, and I mean, I don't see signs of anybody except for hunters and one or two other hikers out here. I don't know if any of you noticed, but there's this small structure kind of behind my camp. It's, what is it? Yeah. It's an outhouse. On tonight's menu, homemade curry, and there's some orange in there. You probably see it. That's sweet potato. Turns out pretty good in it. I think this is going to be the end of day 2. See you tomorrow. Good morning, it's day 3. I decided this morning when I woke up that this is going to be the last day of the trip. I looked at the map yesterday and it turned out that I was about a 10-mile walk to the car from here along my chosen route. I'm going to be taking the Snowshed Trail down and then connecting with the Herb Martyr Trail back to the trailhead. So the 3 ingredients of today's breakfast is an asazi beans, Gardein crumbles, which are like sort of a soy-based kind of meat replacement, and chili flavored ramen. And basically I just do 3 cups instead of the 2 cups you'd normally get with ramen, and you just rehydrate the beans and crumbles first for like 10 minutes, and then you add your ramen into the hot pot, and it's pretty good. Okay, so yesterday we were kind of in this area here, and we're camped at Cima Park right now. And today I'm going to head down south on the Crest Trail, and this is going to be a couple miles to Chiricahua Peak, and then I'm going to summit Chiricahua Peak. I think this is about 700 feet of climbing, so it's going to be really steep, over less than a mile. And we're going to top out at around 9,700 feet, and then we're going to go down the other side, and then I'm going to hook up with the Snowshed Trail here, and I'm going to take this down quite a ways actually, and there's going to be some switchbacks, probably going to be some really good views through here. And eventually I'm going to connect up with the Herb Martyr Trail, and that's going to take me down back to the car. I think today's going to be about 10 and a half miles. Reached the Crest Trail again, and I'm headed south now towards Chiricahua Peak. Another view looking west into the Chiricahua Range. Kind of the same view we had yesterday, but from a little bit of a different angle. Okay, that out there is Chiricahua Peak. We're going to climb that first over the next mile, then we're going to descend the other side and go down the Snowshed Trail. Got trail junction. So this one, well, we're not taking that way. That takes you down into the Chiricahuas and the western slope. And this takes you to Monte Vista Peak. So we're actually going this direction. Chiricahua Peak Trail 270A. We're gonna head up. Kind of a little aspen forest on the way up. Almost to the top. Okay, I'm at the top of Chiricahua Peak. There's a benchmark here. It says we are at 9795, almost 9,800 feet elevation. I'm gonna walk off the trail to find a scenic spot. There are kind of some trees in the way, but tall grasses. So the view is obscured a bit by trees. I've been seeing this mountain off in the distance yesterday and a lot today. I think, I'm not sure on this, but I think it's called the Cochise Head. All right, I'm gonna go down the other side of Chiricahua Peak. The map shows that there is a trail, but it's unmaintained, so this is gonna be hit or miss. I might be coming down the way I came up, so we'll see. Following the faintest trail, just kind of making my way through open forest. You won't believe this view. This basin just kind of popped right out of nowhere as I was rounding a bend. I love when that happens. Okay, we're to Aspen Saddle, and actually this direction there's some springs out that way, and here's the main crest trail. It's looking back the way that I came from, kind of behind me this direction. This is where I just came from off of Chiricahua Peak, and we're gonna head this direction, I believe, down the Snowshed Trail. So I had originally planned to do this route the opposite direction that I ended up doing it in, because the mileage and elevation gain was less on the first day if I did it this way. So today we're dropping a total of about 5,000 feet of elevation gain, if I have that right. Without Chiricahua Peak, it's still about 4,400 feet elevation loss. So yeah, I got a long descent ahead of me. so I'm not quite to the Snowshed Trail yet. I'm still on the Crest Trail. It's almost non-existent over here. So I'm just kind of contouring the side of this mountain. Here's a view of the side of the mountain I've been hiking on. And I've just been kind of along some exposure along this basin. But pretty mind-blowing views over here. No clue what this thing over here is named. It's a very photogenic rock feature. I'm just repeatedly taken aback by these mountains. A lot of surprise views out here I wasn't expecting. Just FYI, this trail does have a decent amount of exposure, so that's what I'm looking down at. It's steeper than it looks. I'm just hanging right off the edge of this mountain. Okay, so we're gonna head off towards Pine Park, and I think we're gonna contour along this hillside right here. Trail goes up this direction. Found another sign saying Herb Martyr Camp, I think that says. It says 7.5 miles. So we got 7.5 miles back to the car, I think. Well, there's not much of a trail over here, but I think we're gonna get good trail real soon, so I can actually see the trail cut going down this mountainside. I think we're gonna have a pretty good view in a sec. Check this out. Man, I can't believe the views in this place. Alright, that's the direction that we're heading. You can kind of see the trail cut out there. So we're going to kind of contour around this hillside, mountainside, until we hit, I think it's called Pine Park, and then we're going to take the Herb Martyr Trail down back to the car. And I think once we get there, we're going to have a pretty good view of this mountain range that's in front of us right now, and the Portal Canyon. So I'm really curious about this canyon down here that I've been kind of alongside. It just looks gorgeous. Here's a look back from where I came from. You can faintly make out the line of the trail out there. And here's that valley that I've been following most of the afternoon. There's some kind of a reddish, yellowish white rock spires ahead. Kind of reminds me of the Superstition Wilderness. Kind of surprised how much red rock I'm seeing out here. Kind of gives a Mogollon Rim kind of vibe. So I don't know if this shows up on camera, but I'm almost kind of right on top of those spires that I filmed a little bit earlier. You can see Pine Saddle in the foreground, kind of right in front of that red hilltop, and so right over there, I believe. And the trail kind of contours along this way. We're going to be going up. So here's the trail ahead. Okay, here's a look back at the trail from where I came from. So you can see those spires out there. So we're on the other side of those now. So this is the kind of range that has been on my right for most of the day. So we're getting back into the trees now. It looks like might be good to have some shade for a change, because I've been baking in the sun the most of the day. Reached another junction. So oddly enough, there's no sign for Herb Martyr Trail. So that way will be the rest of the Snowshed Trail, but I need to go down this way. And I'm pretty sure this is it. This is what I need. This is very obviously a trail. And according to my GPS, this is where Herb Martyr is. I know I got about a million switchbacks to go down to get back down to the trailhead, but it's all downhill from here. You see it right there? There's a Coatimundi. Didn't tell exactly what it was at first, but it's I thought it was a raccoon at first, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's a weird head and kind of weird tail. I feel like I've had more wildlife encounters on this one 3-day trip than almost all of my combined trips over the last few years. It's just really weird. I saw a bear, I saw many deer, saw, what else? A lot of interesting birds, and I just saw Coatimundi. Looks like there's a spring flowing down from up high. Kind of crosses the trail. Pretty surprised to see this here. There's no springs marked on the map over here. It runs down, probably into Cave Creek. It looks like another spring down there. This one's not really reachable from the trail though. This trail's got a very much Mogollon Rim type vibe to it. So I was walking along. At first I thought, are those bear tracks? But actually, you can make out the little paw pads. I believe these are mountain lion or cougar tracks. So this is the area I hiked down from, where the Herb Martyr Trail goes through. And looking back, it kind of looks like the Chiricahua Wilderness to me. That's looking down towards the trailhead. And I'm kind of going down this canyon. I'm just kind of awestruck by this view out here. So I came across a campsite. This is the first campsite that I've come across since coming back from Cima spring. So I haven't seen any campsites at all since then. Though you could camp up on top of Chiricahua Peak. This is the way we're going. Pretty much you need to camp low or camp high in this place. Alright, so you can probably see the road down there. I believe that's where the trailhead is. So I'm getting close to the car. Probably got another mile to mile and a half. This is Cave Creek. Right across it. I'm going to try to cross the road there. I'm going to have to cross this a couple times before I get back to the car. I think the trail's like right over there. Pretty little creek. Mario 3 or something. Well, we're out of the wilderness now. Okay, I'm nearly back to my car, so I'm gonna call it quits for this trip, but I wanted to have a few closing thoughts on the Chiricahua Wilderness. First of all, the hike I did barely scratched the surface. This is just the tip of the iceberg in this place. So far I'm pretty blown away. some things were as expected and other things were unexpected. So it was nice to get some elevation again, because I'm doing some trips at high elevation soon. So this partially was used as kind of acclimatizing. But man, those views up top were just spectacular. I just couldn't get enough of them. Now we're down here by these kind of riparian and creek areas. So much diversity and scenery. You know, what's interesting is I was expecting a lot of the Crest Trail, and it ended up being the least scenic of the trails. The most scenic was that Snowshed Trail. That was also kind of a rough trail with a lot of exposure, very kind of loose. So I wouldn't take stock on it, and I would think twice about taking kids out on it. But if you're an in-shape hiker, I'd recommend it. But yeah, so anyway, I'm just about done here. It's been a really long day, so I'm gonna call it quits for this trip. See you guys next time. All right, so I got back to my car and there was this thing on my windshield. I thought I was getting a ticket at first, but turns out the ranger was letting me know that this area is for campground parking only. I guess there's a trailhead parking further up. I didn't know about it. It's not marked anywhere. But anyway, back to the trailhead. So it's good to know that there's a parking area for next time. Anyway, see you guys later. Okay, I've reached the Crest Trail again. Take 4, take 5. Okay, I've reached the Crest Trail again. Take 6. Okay, I've reached the Crest Trail. Oh my God.